such a fine man.
Everybody, what's up? I'm Kylie. So today I'm gonna be telling a story time of how I lost my best friend and she died. So hang on, let me turn off this computer. So pretty much I'm gonna go back to last year and I'm gonna tell you how I met her and everything and how I found out everything. So okay, so I'm gonna start from when I broke my hand because this is how I first ever met her. So I was walking down the hallways and I broke my arm again for like the second time. And so I'm wearing this big red cast and I hated it. So I'm feeling like so anxious about myself and everything. Like I'm like hating myself. I'm like, I'm never gonna do cheer again. I'm never gonna do this again. And I'm just saying all these bad things. And out of nowhere, this girl comes out and she's like, hey girl. And I'm like, what? I'm like, who's this? And it's this girl. And I'm like, oh, hey. And she's like, you look beautiful today. And I'm like, oh, thank you. She's like, what's that thing on your arm? And I was like, oh, it's a cast. And she was like, oh, okay. She's like, I hope you get feeling better, girl. I was like, okay, thank you. Like, and that made me feel so much better. So then, now going on. So, you know, I help her to her classes and stuff because me and her were in the special ed classes together. So I'm helping her and everything. And, you know, summer comes around and she calls me a couple times. She's like, hey girl, it's Jeanette. I'm calling to see how you're doing and everything. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing great. You know, I'm already about to go to Florida with my bestie. She's like, oh, okay. She's like, well, I want to go to the movies. And I was like, okay, we can go to the movies or whatever. So, you know, we talk and stuff, you know, right before, you know, everything happened. And then summer ends and then school comes around. So I see her, I'm like, hey girl, how'd Jeanette? You know, she's like, oh, hey Kylie. And, you know, we're talking and everything. And so we're in school for about 2 weeks, I'll say. And then, because we start school in August. And then we get, like, it's hard to explain. I'll explain that in another video. But it's already about to become September. So I remember it was Wednesday. And I think it was the 29th. And she's like, hey, girl. She comes in. And we have late start Wednesdays where we go to school half of the day. So it was late start Wednesday. I was like, hey girl, how are you feeling? She was like, good. She was so happy and everything. And she had seizures. And so she was looking so good. Like everything was looking good. I was like, how are you feeling? You know, she's like, I'm feeling good, Kylie. And me and her had 4th hour together. And so I was like, have you had seizures lately? She's like, no, my seizures haven't been coming back or anything. And so I was like, okay. And so class ends or whatever because it's only like 30 minutes long. And then, you know, the next day I go to school. And so everything goes fine. And then my teacher, Miss Lester, she's the best teacher ever. If you're watching this, Miss Lester, I love you. She's crying. And I'm like, what's going on? I was like, oh my gosh, watch it be, you know, sorry, I'm kind of getting sad. Watch it be, she's leaving, like she's going to another school. And I was like, oh my gosh, if she goes to another school, I'm gonna lose it. Like I cannot, like this is my favorite teacher of all time. I love Miss Lester. So she's crying. And so 3rd hour, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have a like test. And I was like, I need to get going to class. She's like, everybody needs to go down to Miss Burkhart's room. And Miss Burkhart, she's a really awesome teacher, and she's in the special ed. So I was like, okay. So we go down there and everything, and they settle everybody in there, everybody that was in the special ed room. That was her close friends, all the Links help special ed kids. And she goes, Jeanette passed away. And my first reaction was, you know, I was like, what? Like, no, like, are you sure this isn't, like, Jeanette? And I was like, I just start crying. I start bawling my eyes. And everybody's looking at me. And I'm just like, you know, I just start bawling my eyes out. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, everything stopped. I was bawling. I just couldn't think of her being gone. Because just yesterday, she was just smiling. And I was like, what happened? Like, all I wanted to know was what happened. And she had a really bad seizure. And yeah, so pretty much that's it. You know, she died, and I got a hold of her mom, Denise, and I got to speak at Jeanette's funeral. And yeah, and one thing I promised Jeanette, that I was always gonna be her link, because everybody wanted to be Jeanette's link. If you seen Jeanette, everybody knew Jeanette. She was popular and everything. And so I said to her, I was like, I'm gonna be your link one day. I said, I don't know when it's gonna be because I miss too much school and everything, and my grades are not so good. She was like, it's okay, girl, take your time. So today, my teacher, Miss Lester, comes up to me and she says, next semester, you're gonna be somebody's link. And they help people and everything. I'm sorry. And I promised Jeanette I was gonna be her link. And like, I feel so bad for crying. And like, I know I'm not crying yet, but I feel like I'm gonna start crying. Yeah, there I go. I promised her, and even though I can't help her, I get to help somebody. And it just makes me feel like I get to be closer to her. Right up here, I have a picture she drew for me, and my mom framed it for me and everything. She says, love, Jeanette. I love this picture. And then right over here, I have a picture of me and Jeanette. And I will always treasure this, and I love you. If you have a best friend, a loved one, make sure you tell them you love them, because it doesn't matter what disability, it doesn't matter if you're healthy, it doesn't matter if you are old or you are young. Death is not scared of you. Death can come to you. Suicide, car accidents, heart attacks, cancer. It doesn't matter. Death likes everybody. So please tell your loved ones you love them, because once they're out of this world, you have nothing left. So please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this, even if somebody needs this. Thank you, God, so much for everything you've done to me, even though this last year has been complete booty. I'm just so thankful for everything that I learned from the hard problems that I had in my life. Thank you, guys. Bye.